Have you ever heard of a forest the size of a modern city being flattened in an instant, with no one knowing what caused it? This isn't a sci-fi movie. It's the true story of the Tunguska event, one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. On the morning of June 30th, 1908, the remote wilderness of Tunguska in Siberia was peaceful and silent. Suddenly, a blinding light, brighter than the sun, tore across the sky. Witnesses described it as a pillar of fire, splitting the heavens in two. Seconds later, a deafening explosion roared, a sound so powerful it was heard hundreds of kilometers away. An intense wave of heat swept across the land, knocking people off their feet and shattering windows in distant villages. In a matter of moments, an area of over 2,000 square kilometers was devastated. But when the first scientific expeditions finally reached this isolated region years later, they found something truly baffling. Tens of millions of trees were scorched and knocked down, all pointing away from a central point. It was a scene of utter destruction, as if a colossal force had descended from the sky. But here's the mystery. At the very center of this destruction, where you would expect to find a massive impact crater, there was nothing. No crater, no fragments of a meteorite, no evidence of anything hitting the ground. The trees at the epicenter were still standing, stripped of their branches and bark, like ghostly sentinels guarding a secret. It was as if an immense explosion had happened in mid-air and then simply vanished. So what could have caused such a catastrophe? The most widely accepted scientific theory is that a small asteroid, or a piece of a comet, perhaps 50 to 100 meters across, entered Earth's atmosphere at an incredible speed. The immense pressure and friction caused it to superheat and explode about 5 to 10 kilometers above the ground. This airburst would have released energy equivalent to hundreds of atomic bombs, creating a shockwave powerful enough to flatten the forest below without leaving a crater. This idea explains a lot. The lack of a crater is the biggest clue. If an object explodes in the air, the blast wave spreads out sideways, which is consistent with the radial pattern of the fallen trees. The intense heat felt by witnesses would also be a result of this massive energy release. Scientists have even found microscopic spherules of melted rock and metal in the soil, which could be the remnants of the object that vaporized in the explosion. Another popular version of this theory points to a comet instead of a rocky asteroid. Comets are made mostly of ice and dust. An icy body would have completely disintegrated in the atmosphere, explaining why so little physical evidence was left behind. This theory is compelling because it neatly addresses the missing object problem. The intense light and heat would have been the comet vaporizing in a flash of brilliant energy. However, neither the asteroid nor the comet theory is perfect. Some details just don't quite fit. For example, certain eyewitnesses reported that the object seemed to change direction before it exploded, which is something a natural celestial body wouldn't do. The pattern of the fallen trees also has some strange anomalies that are hard to explain with a simple airburst model. These lingering questions have opened the door to more unconventional and controversial theories. One idea is that the event was caused by a massive natural gas explosion. The Tunguska region is known for its vast underground reserves of natural gas. A huge pocket could have erupted from the ground and been ignited by lightning or some other atmospheric event, creating a massive fireball. While intriguing, this theory struggles to explain the evidence of an object coming from the sky. Then there are the more fringe ideas that have captured the public imagination. One of the most famous is the black hole theory. Some physicists once proposed that a tiny, primordial black hole might have passed through the Earth. It would have entered in Siberia and exited on the other side of the planet, in the Atlantic Ocean. The energy released during its passage would have caused the explosion. However, there's no evidence of a corresponding exit event, and this theory is now largely dismissed by the scientific community. And of course, we can't talk about Tunguska without mentioning aliens. The idea that the explosion was caused by an alien spacecraft has been a staple of science fiction and UFO lore for decades. Proponents of this theory suggest that a nuclear-powered alien ship either exploded or was deliberately detonated to prevent a larger catastrophe. They point to the lack of fragments and the strange eyewitness accounts as evidence, But just like with other extraordinary claims, there is no solid proof to support this idea. It remains purely in the realm of speculation. So, after more than a century of investigation, the Tunguska event is still an enigma. While the asteroid airburst theory is the most plausible explanation we have, it's not a closed case. The mystery continues to fascinate scientists and the public alike, reminding us of the powerful and unpredictable forces at play in our universe. But here's a sobering thought. The Tunguska event happened in one of the most remote places on Earth. What if it had happened over a major city like New York, London, or Tokyo? The energy released was enough to wipe a modern metropolis off the map. Millions of lives would have been lost, and the world would have been changed forever. In 1908, we had no way of seeing it coming. Today, we have asteroid tracking programs that scan the skies for potentially hazardous objects, but our planetary defense systems are still in their infancy. Small objects, like the one thought to have caused the Tunguska event, are incredibly difficult to detect. The Tunguska mystery is more than just a historical puzzle. It's a stark reminder of our vulnerability. It tells us that cosmic events, even relatively small ones, have the power to cause unimaginable devastation. The silent forests of Siberia hold a warning for all of us. Somewhere out there, in the vastness of space, another object might be heading our way. Tunguska may not have been the last time. It might have just been the first warning. What do you think happened in Tunguska all those years ago? Was it an asteroid, a comet, or something else entirely? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more explorations into the world's greatest mysteries.